Hi guys, good morning. Uh, you guys are able to see my screen, right? Okay, let's get started. Fine. So if we take our previous session, we are getting understanding that how exactly we can get work with the different kind of the stages here, right? So you are understanding that what are the different kind of the stages we are having it and what exactly the functionality of that particular stages here, right? Now, in a similar manner, we need to be get understand about whether the debug okay, sorry guys. Fine. So if we take our previous session, we are getting understanding about with the different kind of the stages, and after that, which we have been discussed about with the debug options here, right? Now, similar to that, going forward, the major important thing is we need to be get understand about with the object identification. Nothing but we can say that application modeler. Okay, so we need to be get understand about how exactly we can get work with the application modeler, or we can say that spy modes. Okay, so we'll be mentioning the application modeler and which it will be mentioning the spy modes here. Okay, so whenever we are working with the Blue Prism to take with the automation or to continue with the automation, this is the one major important thing need to be get understand on it here. Okay, right. Now let's understand in a very detail what exactly mean by this and what are the different techniques available while working on this here. Okay, right. Let's understand on it. The very first thing is whenever we are taking with the help of the Blue Prism tool, right? If I'm taking with the help of the Blue Prism tool, it has been used to get implemented with the automation, right? So we are taking with the some applications. Okay, we are taking with the some applications, and then we are getting automating that application. That means whatever our Blue Prism tool is there. Okay, so whatever the Blue Prism tool is there, this Blue Prism tool need to be interacted. Okay, whatever the Blue Prism tool is there, this Blue Prism tool need to be interacted with the application. Okay, so if I'm taking with the Blue Prism tool, this Blue Prism tool need to be get interact with the application. But whenever we are working with the Blue Prism tool, this Blue Prism tool directly it cannot interact with the application. Okay, so the Blue Prism tool directly it will not be able to interact with the application here. So for that particular purpose, what we are doing is, first we are taking with the Blue Prism tool only, and this Blue Prism tool will be interacting with application modeler. If I'm taking with the Blue Prism tool, this Blue Prism tool will be interacting with the application modeler. And if I'm taking with the application modeler, this application modeler will be interacting with the application here. Okay, so whenever we are working with the Blue Prism tool, directly it will not be interacting with the application. For that particular purpose, first we are taking with the Blue Prism tool. This Blue Prism tool will be interacting with the application modeler, and application modeler will be interacting with the application. Okay, in a similar manner, right? In a similar manner, if I'm taking with the application, it will be interacting with the application modeler. This application modeler will be interacting with the tool here. Okay, so now if we look into this, tool will be interacting with the application modeler. Application modeler will be interacting with the application here. Fine. Now, going forward, whenever we are working with the Blue Prism tool, in case of our Blue Prism tool need to be interact with the application, it is mandatory that we need to be set up with the application modeler. Without making with the setup of application modeler, we cannot get interacting with the tool here. Okay. Now, if I'm taking with the application modeler, okay, so if I'm taking with the application modeler, while working with the application modeler, we used to be getting a different type of the spy modes here. Okay, so we need to be having a different type of the spy modes here. If I'm taking with the different type of the spy modes, one, it will be mentioning that HTML mode, okay, and one it will be mentioning that Win32 mode, and one it will be mentioning that region mode, and one it will be mentioning that, okay, one it will be mentioning that accessibility mode, okay, which it will be mentioning that accessibility mode. So if I'm taking with the application modeler, okay, so if we take with the application modeler, or nothing but we can take with the spy modes. If I'm taking with the spy modes, which you will be getting with the different type of the spy modes here. In that, one you will be taking with the HTML mode, and one you will be taking Win32 mode, and one you will be taking region mode, and one you will be taking with the accessibility mode here. Okay, now whenever we are working with the Blue Prism tool, according to the application, we need to be get understand that what is the spy mode need to be used here. So most of the time in interviews we will be getting in a questions mentioning that whenever we are working with the Blue Prism tool, what are the spy modes are available. Okay, so now if we look into this, for now these are all the spy modes we'll be using it, and when we have to be work with each and every mode here. Okay, in that, if I'm taking with the HTML mode, okay, if we take with the HTML mode, okay, so if I'm taking with the HTML mode has been used for web-based applications here. Okay, which it will be mentioning that web-based applications. Okay, if I'm taking with the Win32 mode, right? If I'm taking with the Win32 mode, it has been used Windows applications. Okay, which it will be taking with the Windows applications. One will be taking with the web-based applications, and one will be taking with the Windows applications here. Another one is which it will be having with the region mode here. Okay, and the next will be taking with the help of the region mode here, right? So one is it will be taking with the web-based applications, and one will be taking Windows application, and one will be taking with the region mode. If I'm taking with the region mode, it will be mentioning the any applications. Okay, any application, but in the form of images. Okay, any application but in the form of images. So what exactly mean by that images? Going forward we will be getting understanding. For now we can remember that whenever you are working with the region mode will be applicable for any applications. Okay, region mode will be applicable for any applications which it will be taking in the form of images here. Okay, and after that it will be taking with the accessibility mode. If I'm taking with the accessibility mode, which it will be mentioning that any application here. Okay, so if I'm taking with the accessibility mode, which it will be mentioning that any application here. Fine. Now whenever you are working with the application modular, it will be getting with the different type of, sorry, which will be having different type of the spy modes here. In that, one will be taking with the HTML mode, and one will be taking with the Win32 mode, and one will be taking with the region mode, and one will be taking with the accessibility mode here. Okay, so HTML mode, it has been used for web-based applications. Win32 mode, it has been used for Windows application. Region mode, any application, but in the form of images. Accessibility mode, any application. Now, let's get understand in a very detail how exactly we can get work with the each and every spy mode here. In that, one will be taking with the HTML mode here. Okay, so first we'll get understand that how we can work with the HTML mode. Okay, for that, let me get create with the object here. First, we will be taking with the studio tab. Okay, first we will be taking with the studio tab here. Now here we need to be get create with the respective object, which we will be creating with the object. We will be mentioning the create object, and then we will be mentioning the Win32 mode, not Win32 mode. It will be mentioning the spy modes underscore. It will be taking with the HTML. Okay, click on the next button and click on the finish. Right, just take with the double click on it. Once you're done with the double click activity, okay, once you have been done with the double click activity, these are the common things which you will be taking with the action one. If required, you can take with the rename here. Now, if I'm taking this Blue Prism tool, or if I'm taking this Object Studio, need to be get interact with the application. In case it want to be get interact with the application, it is mandatory that we need to be take with the help of application modular. Okay, so it's mandatory that we need to be take with the application modular. Whenever we are taking with the application modular, okay, whenever we are taking with the application modular, first we need to be take with the setup of this. So if I'm taking with the setup, once we click on application modular, by default it will be taking with the application name here. Okay, so by default it will be taking with the application name here. Now if I'm taking with the application name, okay, so if I'm taking with the application name, right, so if I'm taking with the application name, so here Either you can continue with the same name, or if you want to be provide any another name, you can provide another name also. And we are having with the possibility to take with the help of the existing application modelers here. That means previously already we have been done with the application modeler for some of the examples, right? So further, in case if you want to be reuse those things, we are having the possibility of that also. So but for now we'll be taking with the new one only, which it will be mentioning with the application name here. Then you will be clicking on the next button. Now we can see here it is asking the different kind of the application, which application you want to be get automated here. So for now we are taking with the browser based application. It will be getting selecting with the browser based application here. Okay, once we got selected with the browser based application, next we will be clicking on the next button here. Then it is asking that is browser got open or browser is need to be get open from executable file. So as part of our requirement, which it will be mentioning that browser need to be get open from the executable file only, it will be clicking on the next button here. Okay, right. Once we have been click on the next button, fine. So once we have been click on the next button, then it will be asking with the path of the browser, which browser need to be get open. So which it will be providing with that particular browser here. Okay. And after that, clicking on the next button, asking for the URL. So whatever the application we have to be get automated, you need to be provide that application URL. So let me take our application URL only. Fine. So which it will be taking with the application URL. So will be taking with the copy of this, and which it will be mentioning with the application URL. Okay. And then clicking on the next button. After that, click on the next button. Again, click on finish. Okay. By that, it will be getting opening with the application modeler. So once application modeler got open, now here you can see that once application modeler got open, by default it will be getting with the option is launch button here. Okay. So by default it will be getting with the button is launch button. You need to be click on this launch button here. Okay. So by default you are getting this button, which we need to be click on this launch button. You have to be click on the launch button here. Once we have been click on the launch button, we provided with the application modular setup, right? It's need to be take that respective application modular. It's need to be take with the respective application and need to be get open that respective browser. Now we can see here. Once I click on the launch button, need to be getting opening with the IE browser, and at the same time it is getting opening with the HRMS application. Right, so opening with the IE browser and getting opening with the HRMS application. By this we can understand that whatever the setup we have been done is the correct one here. Okay, so whatever the setup we have been done, which it will be taking with the correct one. In case once we click on the launch button, if application is not getting opening it, then we need to be cross check that what are all the things need to be done it. So now you can see here, in a place of the launch, you are getting with the identify. Okay, so in a place of the launch, you are getting with the identify here. Now let's click on identify. Once we have been click on the identify button, now we can see here, we are able to see that it is mentioning with the HTML mode. We are working with the web-based application, right? Because of that, by default, it will be taking HTML mode. If you want to be make any changes, okay, if you want to be make any changes, which it will be taking with the another mode, that it will be taking with the Win32 mode. From the keyboard, you can take with the control key, sorry, alt key. From the keyboard, if I'm pressing with the alt key, it will be changing with the spy mode, which will be taking accessibility mode, and it will be taking with the region mode, and which will be taking with the HTML mode. Okay, So now if I'm taking with this, whenever we are taking with the alt, so one will be taking with the Win32 mode, sorry. First we will be taking HTML mode and then Win32 mode, accessibility mode, region mode here. So according to the requirement, we need to get understand that what are the options need to be used. Okay. First, we used to be take with the help of this HTML mode. Now, whenever we are working this HTML mode or any mode, we are spying with the particular element, right? So while spying this particular element, we need to get follow the particular hierarchy, or we can say that particular standards here. So what exactly that particular standards need to be followed is, the very first thing is we need to be take with the page name here. For example, it will be mentioning with the page name page 1. Okay, and after that, under this particular page, which it will be taking with the respective things here. So that it will be taking with the element 1, which it will be taking with the element 2, and it will be taking with the element 3 here. Okay, and again after that, which it will be taking with the one more activity, it will be taking with the one more page, which it will be taking with the page name will be the 2 here. Okay, so which it will be taking with the page name will be the 2, we will be taking with the element 1, and which it will be taking with the element 2, and which it will be taking with the element 3. Okay, so like this, how many pages you are having it, which it will be taking with that respective pages here. So this was the one structure we need to be get followed to get identifying or to spy on a particular elements here. Okay. So whenever we are working with whenever we are working with the Blue Prism tool, or nothing but while working with the application modeler, we need to be take with the setup of these things. So first, you will be taking with the page name. Under that particular page, whatever the elements are there, we need to be take with the spy of that particular elements here. And after that, once that particular page has been completed, which it will be taking with the another page here. Right? Now, similar to that, let's follow the same hierarchy here. So if I'm taking this application modeler, first I will be taking with the page name, right? Let's get identify the whole page. Now to get identify the whole page, you can keep the cursor at any corner, then the whole window will be getting identified. Nothing but the whole page will be getting identified here. Okay, now we can see here. If we look into this will be mentioning that the whole page is getting identified. Okay, so we'll be mentioning that the whole page will be getting identified, which we will be taking with the whole page, that it will be taking with the control left click. From the keyboard, once you are taking with the control left click. Okay, so from the keyboard, once you are taking with the control left click, to get identify this element, whatever the options we have been required, automatically application modeler will be taking those attributes. Now we can see here, by default we are getting with the attributes which has been clicked here. We are not clicking on any of the checkbox here. Whenever we are taking with the identify, automatically application modeler will be understanding that what are all the elements it has been required to get identify that particular object here. Okay, so now let's click on highlight. For the confirmation, you will be clicking on the highlight. Once you are clicking on the highlight activity, okay, once we are clicking on the highlight, it is getting highlighting it, right? As it is getting highlighting it, let me click on once again. As it is getting highlighting it, we don't have any issues. In case once you click on highlight, if it is giving any error, then we need to be cross check about those things here. So for now, as it is getting highlighting it, For easy remembering, I will be taking with the page name that I will be taking with the login page here. Okay, so we'll be taking with the page name that I will be taking with the login page. Fine. After this, now from the login page, which I will be taking with the login page, from the login page I will be taking with the respective element. Under this particular page we need to be take element, right? That I will be taking with the add child here. This is I will be taking with the main tree structure. Under that I will be taking with the respective element here. Okay, so which you will be taking with the respective element. Now you will be getting identifying this element here. Now click on identify. Once you click on identify, we required with the text box, right? Which you will be taking with the respective text box here. Now you will be taking with the control left click. It will be getting highlighting that particular element. Now you can see here, once I click on the highlight, it is getting highlighting that particular element, right? So once I have been clicking on the highlight, getting highlighting that particular element here. Okay, now what is this element? That is in a text box, right? Which I will be mentioning that it is a text box which it will be taking with the hyphen. Okay, so it is a text box which it will be mentioning with the hyphen. For easy understanding, it will be taken with the name. What it is mentioning? Login name, right? It will be mentioning with the login name. Okay, so we'll be taking with the text box hyphen, which it will be taking with the login name. Click on not identify, which you will be clicking on highlight. Once you click on highlight, that particular text box is getting highlighted. Now under this, now this is the main page, right? Under this main page you required with all the sub elements related to that particular page. Then you will be taking with the add element. Again you will be taking with the text box. You will be taking with the text box hyphen, which you will be taking with the password here. So clicking on identify, and which you will be taking with the password. So we'll be taking with the control left click, clicking on the highlight, getting highlighted. Okay, apply. Again, you required with the button, right? So which it will be mentioning with the button, as it is related to button, which you will be taking with the login. Okay, click on identify, which it will be taking with the login button. Okay, it will be taking login button, mentioning with the control left click, which will be taking with the control left click. Once you click on highlight, it is getting highlighting it here. Okay, until unless it is getting highlighting it, we don't have any issues. Now assume that according to the scenario, these are the elements you have been required here. And after this, you will be taking with the login activity. Once you have been done with the login activity, okay, once you have been done with the login activity, so here you need to be take with the some more elements. For example, assume that you need to be take with the logout. So first, once you're done with the login activity, as the page is changing it, now the previous page is different, this page is different. If we take with the previous page, you will be mentioning that login page. If I'm taking this particular page, we can consider it is in a home page here, right? Now we need to be get understand that. Okay, so we need to be get understand that how we can get work with the home page here. Okay, now let's get understand on it how we can get work with the home page here. Okay, now let me identify this. So to get identify this, you can see the tree structure. This is the main page. For that, I'm clicking on the add element. This is I will be taking with the home page here, which it will be taking with the home page. Right. So first it will be taking with the login page. After that, it will be taking with the home page. Let's click on identify. Once we have been click on identify, we need to be get identify the whole page. So once you are getting identifying with the whole page, so this I will be taking with the control left click. So taking with the control left click, it is getting identifying with the whole page. Now click on highlight, getting highlighting it. Okay, so once you click on highlight, it is getting highlighting that particular page. Okay, and after that, now from the home page. Okay, so from the home page, then you will be taking with the sub elements, you will be taking with the add child here. Now assume that I need to be take with the logout option. That is an option, right? So which it will be taking with the option. It will be taking with the option, which it will be taking with the logout. Click on identify, which it will be getting identified here. So we'll be taking with the logout. Click on highlight. Click on highlight, getting highlighting it. As it is getting highlighting it, we don't have any issues. In case assume that you are having with the one more page. For example, if I'm taking this, first you are getting with the home page, then I will click on the add button. Once I click on the add button, we are getting add employee form. Now in case if you want to be perform any activities in this add employee form, which it will be getting with the one more page. As an example, now we can see here, if I'm taking with the application modular, which it will be taking with the one more page, that I will be taking add element. This I will be mentioning with the add employee. Okay, which I will be mentioning the add employee. Now you will be taking with the identify, which it will be taking that particular employee page details here. So whatever this employee is there, which it will be taking that respective employee details here, right? Now you will be taking with the control left click, which you will be taking with the control left click. Now you will be taking with the highlight. Once you're clicking on the highlight, it is getting highlighting it. Now under this, if you want to get identify an element, now we can see here. For this, I will be taking with the add child here. Okay, so now we can see here how exactly it is taking with the hierarchy structure. Okay, first everything it is taking with the page name, and after that, under that particular page, whatever the elements are there, which it will be taking with that respective elements here, right? So by this, whenever we are taking with the more objects or more elements, the maintenance will become in a very easy here. So for this particular purpose, okay, so for this particular purpose, which it will be taking this particular hierarchy. Now you are getting clicking on the identify. Once you click on the identify, let me take this employee code, which you will be taking control left click here. Once you are taking with the control left click, again click on the highlight. Once you click on the highlight, getting highlighting that employee code here. Now that is a text box, right? Which you will be mentioning with the text box. You will be saying that which you will be taking with the text box hyphen, which it will be mentioning the employee code. Okay, so we'll be taking with the employee code here. Now we can get click on highlight. Once you click on highlight, getting highlighting it. So this is what which it will be mentioning the identifying with the different elements here. So going forward, whenever you are working with the automation, while working with the any application modular, we need to follow the same thing here. Okay, so while working with the application modular, we need to follow the same techniques here. So the whole structure, first we will be taking with the page name, and after that we will be taking with the respective element name. So for now, once we have been taking with the identify, it is getting identifying that respective elements here. As it is getting highlighting it, we are not getting any issues. In case if it is not getting highlighting it, we need to work with the different techniques also here. Okay, so till now we have not discussed about any of those different techniques need to be followed. So going forward, we need to get understand to get work with the different techniques here. Okay, so till now it is clear. Any clarifications from here about with the application modular setup and the different type of the spine modes. Any clarifications up to this? Okay, right. So in the next level, we need to be get understand that whenever we are working with this application modular, it may be HTML mode or Win32 mode or anything, we need to be get understand that what are all the challenges we'll be facing it. Okay, so while working this application modular, we need to be get understand that what are all the challenges we'll be facing it here. Okay, so that we need to be discuss it, and at the same time we need to be get understand that how we can work with the different type of spy modes also. For now we have been taken HTML mode. Still we need to be discussed about with the some more options in the HTML mode, and at the same time we need to be get understand about with the different options also here. Okay, so these things we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be discussing about what are all the technical challenges we'll be facing it while working with the application modular, and let's take with the some more examples to understand in a very detail about HTML mode, and we'll be continued about with the Win32 mode and region mode and accessibility mode. Okay, so by tomorrow we'll be completing with the application modular. Once we complete with the application modular, all the things we are getting ready to get started designing with the flow here. So to get design with the flow, the major part is we need to be understand that what are all the different functionality of the stages. Next we need to be get understand that what are all the different type of the spine modes here. Once we are clear about these two things, okay, so once we are clear about these two things, right, so once we are clear about these things, then it will become in a very easy to get a design with the flow here. So from tomorrow, I mean, once this by tomorrow we'll be completing with the application modular. Once this application modular got completed, then we'll be getting started designing with the flows here. Okay, so till now any clarifications from here? Okay, so if we don't have any clarifications, we can get exit from the meeting. So meet you tomorrow. So from tomorrow I'll be taking with the in a very detailed here. Okay, because if I start it will take some time. So from tomorrow we'll be taking in a very detailed here. Right? Okay.